Thank you for staying with us. This is still Report Desk Africa. My name is Bernard Akede. I'm not alone. I'm here with Blessings Mosugu. You'll see her in a bit. But we're jumping straight into the second half of the show. Now, the month of October is regarded as Mental Health Month, and this week is Mental Health Week. It is the Mental Health Awareness Week, actually, and we decided to focus on our mental health as journalists. Now, studies have found that journalists' work can impact their mental health. Research suggests that between 80 to 100% of journalists have been exposed to traumatic events on the job. Now, while everyone should be concerned about their mental health, reports have also shown that journalists must pay particular attention to their mental health as they are exposed to disturbing news daily due to the nature of their jobs. We'll take a look at this report that was compiled by News Central's Adesewa Odusoga. And in this report, she talks about mental health in Nigeria and the need for proper mental healthcare, so to speak.
Draw the attention of the globe on mental health and its challenges. For the 2023 World Mental Health Day, with the theme, Mental Health is a Universal Challenge, a consultant psychiatrist and the head of Department Psychiatry, Federal Medical Center Umahia, Dr. Chizoba Acho, identified that stigma and discrimination remain the major challenges of people with mental health challenge.
And the aim is to reduce discrimination, reduce stigma, and make mental health a point of reference for everybody to care for his or her own mental health. If there's proper awareness and more education and visibility, I'm sure that people would understand what it means to care for their mental health.
The myth that mental health issues are lifestyle-induced or repercussions of wrongdoings are some of the beliefs that the awareness campaign should address, according to Dr. Abimbola Uthman.
They don't even know what mental illness is. They believe that it's only those who are on the street that have a mental illness. Whereas mental health itself is about ability to cope with adversity, not only mental illness. So even what we are doing today, mental illness includes positive mental health. It also includes mental illness or mental disorder. So everybody needs mental health to be able to function. In fact, there's no health without mental illness.
As for the director, Amudo Integrated Community Mental Health Foundation, Reverend Kenneth Mubani, there is need for awareness of mental health in order for one to manage his physical.
Well, that was a report packaged by Chinwe. Apologies for that. Now, the need for focusing and creating awareness about mental health cannot be overemphasized. I remember when I just joined broadcast journalism for the first year, I almost quit because we get to see these very devastating images year in, year out, and then, you know, it takes a toll on our mental health. And if care is not taken, it can affect you in certain ways, more ways than one. But anyways, joining us to discuss this is a senior broadcast journalist in South Africa, Betty Dibiah Akeredolu-Ale. Thank you so much, Betty, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, going straight into mental health. This is the Mental Health Week, and we're focusing on the mental health of journalists. Now, journalism, as they say, is a round-the-clock kind of job, which is something that everybody knows. How is it possible to log off, you know, mentally and maintain a proper work-life balance, regardless of all the things that you're exposed to on the job?
I guess, as you said earlier, it's quite difficult now that the news cycle is round the clock. Gone are the days when you had your first bulletin, even around your area, probably from 5 o'clock till midnight, and then everybody goes to bed. Now, what is happening in the Middle East right now, at this very minute, you're watching it live. So it's quite difficult to log off, as you say. But at the same time, you have to put in extra effort to be human, to pull back a little bit if you can, try to, you know, in order to be able to keep going on, I guess, along your beat or doing your work. It's very important because we get to see a lot of things, not just us, everybody else. Now, at the same time, we're seeing, other people are seeing that you have citizen journalists. So it's extra effort. It takes extra effort now that news is in your face. News is on your phone. News is like everywhere around you. So it takes extra effort to just ensure that you're human and do what a human being should do. Pull back a little when you get the space. Sleep if you have to. Eat if you have to. Invest in your physical, not just social, physical social settings, your connections with people, your family. It's very important, but it is increasingly difficult to pull back. But well, now that the awareness for mental health issues is increasing, we know it's not just people who are at the psychiatric ward that need to pay a little bit more attention or that need the care. Everybody needs it. And the kinds of things we get to hear these days has made this imperative.
Mm. Very true, Betty. Now, you are someone who has seen the evolution of media over several years, being the fact that you've been in the space for quite a while. And you just talked about, individual journalists taking some time to pull back, so that we can withdraw from certain things that are going on. But the individual journalist is one person, and then the media organization, organizations, as it may be, is another
Yeah.
institution. So what kind of infrastructure do you think should be put in place by media organizations to help journalists cope with mental health issues?
Uh, I guess some organizations are already aware and are doing a little bit more, but deadlines don't help.
Mm.
But increasingly, if uh, um, we get to have more mental health aware or trauma aware newsrooms, that will go a long way. There's certain stories I've gone to cover. Coming back, life has to go on. You move on to the next story or you do a follow-up. And then when I'm by myself, I cannot close my eyes to sleep because I'm relieving every single scene of the incident, or I'm relieving or trying to walk in the shoes of probably a victim in some of these stories. So if the support systems of many newsrooms, we're human at the end of the day. Someone covers something really traumatic. If it's possible to give the person a bit of space, even professional support. Oh, I know that this would have, affected you in this way. Probably you should take time out, speak to this person. It's reached to that point where we should have psychological and help in that line. Speak to people who have been through some of these things. Several stories that I've had to do, and I'm sure many people as well. You go back, you cannot sleep for some days, but every day you're at work. The news has to go. But we've reached a point because of some manifestations that we have seen. Some journalists have taken their lives after certain stories. I'm sure you've heard some of them. It's reached that point where professional support in the newsroom is important. It is important, and the barrage of news and mostly bad news. They say bad news is news. It's become really important. And then the support group at home and within the colleagues as well, teamwork. If a newsroom is mental health or trauma aware, there will be space. There will be things in place to, give support and get the best out of the journalists again,
Right.
continuously.
Betty, thank you for that. Speaking of support system, I think that I've heard of, colleagues of mine who probably complained about not being able to handle certain things for a while, and they needed some time off because it's become so overwhelming. I mean, gone are those days when we see journalists literally cry on air, broadcast journalists, anchors, something is happening in real time and they're seeing it, and the emotions, they don't hide it, they don't mask it. They cry as it's happening, they show concern as it's happening. But these days, maybe you tell your bosses or something that you can't handle a particular story, or you just need some time off, and they tell you something like it's unprofessional. It's unprofessional to cry on air. It's not professional to show concern. It's not professional to do this. They just try to categorize what should be professional or not. They try to make you look like you're a robot. So I guess what I'm trying to ask is, how do we define what is professional or what is not. There are so many media organizations, of course, like News Central, who understand, the human angle of things, who are, who show empathy when it should be shown, who understand, emotions. But there's some other people who feel like you need to be robotic. You need to show people that you're not moved. You don't flinch when things like this happen. So how do we define what professional is in this field?
Well, as a professional, as we were taught, you have to be not robotic, but be in control. You can inform, deeply inform, without inflaming, without adding to or increasing the anxiety level of your viewers. You can still be professional. You can still be calm, a bit tame, or not tame. Tame is not the word. You can show emotion without letting it all out, because there are people watching you, and you're a gatekeeper one way or another. So professionalism doesn't mean you have to be robotic. You have to keep your cool, like keep cool, calm, and how do they put it?
Cool,
Put
calm,
yourself
and
together
Collected.
and collected. Okay, that's it. So you have to do that. Not robotic. You can report, oh, someone has died, and it's a solemn thing, delivery. You don't have to be robotic, but you don't have to start wailing on air. There are people watching you as well. They know you feel, but professionalism doesn't mean you be robotic. There are ways. I can come and say, oh, this person just died. No, but I can still tell you, that I'm sad about it without being robotic. But we still have to keep cool, calm, and as they often tell you, if a snake is crossing your front while you're delivering the news, try say your lines and get up and go. But you have to
Right.
deliver. You have to deliver. So we are gatekeepers. We are the guides as well. So you have to keep yourself together to up to a point before, and the points you can get to, you can hold it, people will understand. I know a lady who talked about her husband's death. She was reading
Yeah.
the news.
Yeah.
She had to read that. How do you expect her to keep herself? But she tried. She actually did.
Yeah.
And when the tears came, everybody understood. Not robotic. You can show emotions, but you still have to keep yourself together.
Now, there are some
Then afterwards, that's where the support group comes. Afterwards, everybody comes together to hold the other up. But the deadlines always get in the way, but
Yes.
we must make time to allow everyone to be human.
I think I would take it a bit personal now, or rather bring it to be a bit personal. Can you share with us some of the ways by which you, would I say, pull back, to use your own words now, and maybe take care of your own mental health when things get too cloudy and congested?
Well, those who really know me know that I'm very good at the point where I do nothing. I just do nothing. I'm not a phone person. I take calls, but I'm really not a phone person. But I make time to just do nothing. I like music. I listen to music. I speak to little children and just take time, because sometimes it gets too much. You switch off, like switch off. My sleep, I don't sleep for too long, but I sleep. I'm not a, I have nothing against party animals, but I don't joke about the time that I sleep. Those 5, 6 hours, I make sure I do that. And if you're not there, the work will still be done. So don't carry everything on your shoulders. You must make time to be you. Make time to own your space and be in that your space and protect it. That if it's an hour every day, if it's 2 hours every day, but I am that NFA kind of person. Sometimes I just do nothing, and I get myself. You rewind and then go back and attack the job, and get the job done.
Thank you
So
so
it's
much.
important for everybody to do that.
Okay, thank you. I think in Italian it's called dolce far niente. That's the art or the principle of
Okay, I've
doing
learned
nothing.
something new.
Well,
That's
thank you
it.
so much,
That's
Betty
it.
Dibiah. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us, and
Thank you
thank you for
very much.
sharing, how
Thank,
mental health should probably be taken care of as journalists.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Betty.
All right, Business. I think I have, well, will I
Dolce
say
what now?
dolce far niente.
Okay.
Yes, it's the art or the principle of doing nothing. Just do nothing, relax, enjoy the moment, enjoy that particular time. And truly, like she said, it does help to control one's mental health and to put your mental health
technically,
in
how
place.
easy is it to do nothing and relax?
So that is the technical part. It's not exactly easy. It's like when people tell you to meditate, right? It's a very tricky yet easy statement, right? Meditate, close your eyes, or just sit down, keep your eyes open, and do nothing. But with how busy the world is at the moment, and especially for journalists, it
yeah.
is difficult to just sit down and meditate. There is
And the
always
thing
something going
about
through the mind.
journalism is you have to stay abreast of situations.
Mm.
So when you're not on air is when you should consume more information,
As a
so
matter
you
of
can
fact.
you can know what's happening around. So what time do I have to just sit down and do nothing? I will feel guilty that I'm
That you're
missing out
doing
on
nothing on
information.
everything
You
that is
know,
going
when
on,
you
actually.
eventually come online and you hear, oh, there was a bomb blast, and you're like, when now?
When did it happen? I didn't
Because
know about
I
that.
didn't see this. So you as a journalist, you feel guilty for missing out on even the smallest of information. So a lot of times that pressure to want to know, even if it's your off day, you just want to know so that the next time you're coming on air, your guest is not saying, remember what happened yesterday? And like,
And
I'm sorry, what
you
happened?
are armed with every piece of
Yeah,
information that is
exactly.
made
So
available. Very
I
true.
think we also need to create that balance. It's very true what she said. I think that's one of my concerns. Another concern I have is the same way we don't have enough time to consume, to not consume information. We also sometimes don't have enough time to see a therapist if we need to. We don't have enough time to decongest or declutter our minds if we need to. So it's just always everybody's on the go.
Yeah. And I think that seeing a therapist, like you mentioned, is something that is not has not become very popular in
Norm
this
in
part of the
Africa,
world.
yeah.
Exactly. And I think it should actually be looked into. I also was out on the streets doing some small reports on mental health, and I got to find out that in Lagos State there actually are helplines that people can call, and there are therapists who work 24 hours, round the clock. You can call and they can reach out, and they would actually give advice on how to go. But not many people know about this. That's one. And then two, the fact that there still seems to be some kind of I wouldn't call it stigmatization, but people still fear the process of actually seeking for help. And that's the first thing that these therapists were saying, that it is okay to seek for help if you feel your mental health is not in a place where it should be.
And to be honest, I think, still speaking of therapists, especially in this part of the world, I think because Africans just find a way to find the humor in everything, they still somehow believe, no matter how little, that even your therapist needs help. Because they do not, a typical African man, especially Nigerian men, will not believe that I will sit down and be telling you my problems, and you want to lie to me that you don't have problems.
Your therapist needs a therapist.
So I feel like there's just still that doubt that I don't think therapy can solve this problem. That's for the Africans. So I think that they need to create the awareness for that as well, that you need to see a therapist. It works.
Definitely.
It actually works, yeah.
And I think we should take this conversation beyond just the Mental Health Awareness Week or Mental Health Awareness Month. It should be a conversation that should continue all the year round.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. If you're just joining us, you clearly have missed a lot on the show. We've talked about the election in Liberia. We've also talked about mental health, and not just mental health generally. We've talked about mental health as it affects us journalists. We'll go on our last break, and when we come back, we'll be looking into our crystal ball to see what may just be the stories that will be trending in the coming week. Just stay with us.